What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video of price action trading. And before we get started, let's take a look at the daily chart. So alright, so at the daily chart we have somewhat bullish bar, but we are trading a little bit lower, so we might end up looking more trading range like kind of bar. Overall, the triple top has been ignored, which is kind of my gut feeling. This market is looking very strong. This double bottom helped and convinced a lot of people to get on board. But let's take a look at how the prices are looking on a lower time frame. Alright, so here we are at the lower time frame and talk about a repeat pattern today, because take a look at this repeat pattern. Take a look at the leg working higher, correction, another leg working higher. I can clearly remember that I saw this pattern earlier, and let me find you the pattern. So take a look at the repeat pattern. This is, a few days back. This is November 3rd. And take a look, we have a one leg working higher, correction, a little bit of consolidation, market really went into trending range, and a huge leg up, and the market then sell off. And today we had something very similar. We have a leg working higher, correction, market went into consolidation, and another big leg working up higher, and eventually we sold off working lower. So this just shows you that learning price action is probably the best investment you can do as a trader. You don't want to rely on indicators that are lagging. You don't want to trade these crazy strategies, because the repeat patterns, they repeat over and over again, and once you learn to see this, you will see that the patterns repeat, and you will get very familiar with them as you get more experience. So learning to read the chart is very important skill. But let's get into it. So we started off with leg higher, correction, big leg up. At this point I'm thinking this is going to be a very bullish day. This is what I'm thinking. On a daily chart, the current candle was very bullish at this point, so there was no signs of shorting the market. So always remember, draw the short-term trend lines. We were working higher, we made a break and a new low, and then market went into this consolidation. I didn't have the trend line yet in place because it was quite hard to find a trend line. Early on I was tweaking with the trend line somewhere like this. There might be something like this, because this was fitting from the tops, but you couldn't make it fit right here. So once we bounce right here, that later on I put this trend line, and the trend line actually looks valid. But nevertheless, we went into consolidation, and this is just a small trading range. You can see the prices are working up and down, up and down. EMA is completely flat. This is just a no trade zone. Prices really don't know where to go. Nobody knows where the price is gonna go. People are just waiting, sit on the sidelines, and that's the proper move. You want to play this. The best way to trade this is to fade the breakouts, like I always tell you. So prices broke lower. You may take this first bullish bar, but it turned lower, tick lower, and then turned all the way back up, so you would have been safe. But I think it's better to wait for this higher low at this point, because prices tick lower, went up, and this is now a failed break lower, which is a good setup, and prices just continue working higher. We broke lower, we broke higher right here, snap back into this consolidation once again, and at this point, once we get this bounce, this swing, this is when my trend line was confirmed. This is when I could eyeball this trend line much clearly, because my first attempt to find the trend line really wasn't fitting ideally on these, from the tops, even from the lows, I really couldn't make it fit. But once we bounce here, I drew my trend line from these first two swings, and you can see the trend line fits here nicely. However, it was still too early to take this breakout pullback, because this is a breakout pullback trade. We broke higher, we pulled back, so this is a breakout pullback trade. But once we make another higher low, the EMA is holding, the trend line is holding, and once again we ticked lower first, we broke lower first, and then we continue trading up higher. So I think it's okay to go long here, because it's off the trend line, it is off the EMA. This is a key entry point, and prices just spiked up higher, and you make a new high here, pull back, first entry, pull back, second entry, you have a break and a new low. You always have to draw the short-term trend lines, because they will keep you from losing trades. You have a break, new low, once again EMA is holding, trend line is holding, the signal bar is not great. So you can make argument of skipping this trade, because there is a big stem in the upper part of this bar. So this is a perfect example, really using limit orders, sneak all the way back in, although I use limit orders almost every time. But you know, yeah, if you're the kind of person that really needs a perfect signal in the bar, this was not the one, and I couldn't blame you not taking this trade because it is really horrible, not that great of a signal bar. But you look at the key entry point, trend line, EMA, second entry, and break and a new low of this correction. So there are multiple factors, you know, of the rules that are basically screaming to you to go long here. So you cannot ignore this, even though the signal bar is not perfect. When you have multiple reasons to go long according to rules, we have 4 here as an example, you can get some little bit of leeway off if the signal bar is not that great. Nevertheless, we just continue working higher, and you can see that we are not making it to the higher, you know, to the upper trend line. We're just barely creeping up from this lower trend line. So not surprising we have a break. We have this trend line working lower. I definitely don't think you want to short this because the trend so far has been so bullish. Even though it looks very steep here, we kind of corrected here and now it's kind of looking a little bit healthier. Still I don't think you want to go short here. You just want to ignore this. And I was kind of surprised because look how much we ended up trading lower, and I wasn't really expecting this because I thought we're gonna have this trend line, we're gonna have a break, yes, as usual, new low as usual, and I thought we're gonna bounce from here and try to attempt to make a new high of this trend line, but it didn't happen. And once we actually, let me put the trend line in place, let me put it right here and right here. Once my first initial analysis were wrong, this is why I didn't mark the short. There's a first entry, second entry short, but at this point this just set the trend line up. There is no way you have this trend line up in place yet. Maybe if you're really experienced from these lows you can find this, but you know, I'm still thinking up, I'm still thinking long. There's a lot of bullish activity on the left side on the market and on the daily chart as well, so I just don't want to sneak in too early. So we spiked lower, and now is the time that we can actually go short because we have a break and a new high. We have a first entry pullback, second entry. Let me mark this trade according to the rules, and now the trend line got confirmed right here. This just set up the trend line. We have few bounces here, this confirmed the trend line, excuse me, this set up the trend line, and we definitely confirmed here. And from now, you know, my first analysis is off because I thought we were gonna go much higher, and we are not because we have a trend line in play. So this just shows you that you always have to be thinking, you know, you have to be always thinking, you know, on the move. You always have to reanalyze your thoughts and what you're thinking is going to happen, because market may change just like that and you have to adapt. Because I was really still hoping we might get some leg up after such a bullish move. But you know, you always have to adapt and to trade the market you get, not the market you want. So this is according to rules of the trend line, second entry. We continue to go lower. I don't like taking these trades right here. They're next to lows, because you never know whether it's gonna bounce on you or keep continuing going lower. So just, this is not a key entry point. This is not ideal. You just really want to take higher probability setups, and the higher probability setups are at the highs. Then we have a break of this trend line, of this bigger trend line, working higher. We may have a few small little break right here and a new high. We have a little bit of push higher. You could say this lower high, even though it's not a technically lower high, but it is too early to go short into this trend line, so I think you want to wait. But look how nicely we spike through the EMA. We pull back and we close all these bars. Look at these 3 bars, all of them close below the EMA. So I think this is a very good trade. I took this trade, even though it is just like a first entry long that failed. You are now thinking to get a new low of this trend channel we're working lower. This is now looking like a valid downtrend, and we are looking for a new low at this point. And this is actually one of the patterns that I like, this pull back below the EMA. Yeah, this is what I like, and the bar is perfectly reversal. The bar was so bullish, and at the very close, at the very end of the bar, we spiked down lower. There was a lot of selling activity at the very close, so this is a good sign for us. This is this is one of the cases where signal bar is, you know, carrying you through the trade, because this signal bar was perfect at this point. Let me draw this trend line. We have a break, we have a new low, and then market went into this consolidation. It's obvious that you cannot trade this, because it's tempting to go long, it's tempting to go short, but you really want to stay away from this. This is the place where a lot of beginners may get chopped up, because they miss this move, they miss this trend, and now they want to go short. But now it's too late. You cannot go short now. You should have went short up here when it wasn't that clear to a lot of people. This is why you need to follow the rules and you need to learn the price action, because it's not that clear here to go short. Now it's clear the market has moved lower, so a lot of beginners, a lot of retail traders are going short here, but they are wrong because it's too late already. It's too late already. And this is a consolidation, this is a choppy mess, so you want to stay out of this. Now at this point we are starting to make lower highs each time. This is a downtrend now. We are still waiting for a new low of this trend line working lower. It is starting to look range-like now. So I still mark this trade because I really like it. You have a new low right here, and you have a first entry, pullback, second entry. So on this bearish bar, second entry trigger right here. But the reason I don't like this trade, because now it's starting to look very range-like and kind of undecisive, you know, undecisive. And look at, we pushed higher right here, and we instantly turned back down, and we kind of, you know, confirmed the second entry. We made a lower high here from this high. So I actually think, let me take back, let me look back at this. Yeah, I still like this. I don't want to mark the trade that is not. The thing here is that we're kind of, this is starting to look, you know, very choppy at this point. You can see there's a lot of stems. The bars are really not going nowhere that much, not going anywhere that much. And yeah, but I still like this trade because the second entry trigger right here, but you just don't want to take it yet because this is starting to look, you know, a little bit range-like. But once we make the lower high and the final push, the people who went long here, now they got trapped and the market just sold off from here. And you finally make a new low of this trend channel line. And notice our price action true to its form. You know, the rules apply. We make a new low right here, we make few legs lower right here, not surprising. And now we went into a trading range, and you can see how prices are now swinging through the EMA, up and down, up and down. You can see the multiple bottoms are starting to form here, multiple tops are starting to form here. And how do we trade ranges? We have to sell the highs and buy the lows. So at this point prices are swinging up and down, up and down. I drew this trend line working higher. We have a break, we made a new high, but we made a double top here, and this is as high as we are getting here, and we made a big bearish bar from the highs. Let me draw a little bit lower right here, from the highs. So this is a double top right here in a trading range. This is clearly swinging up and up and down. Prices shot lower, and this is very hard for beginners to reverse like that, because if you look at the right side of the chart, I'm not gonna do this because I think my recording system is a little bit off. So when I show you my screen like this, you may not see the bar. So if you just look at the right side of the chart and you just see this bar, look at this big bearish leg down. This is very scary. This is looking like we're gonna shot lower, but we're not gonna shot lower. We're in a trading range. This support is proven now, and this is why a lot of professionals, they go long here, because they know a lot of retail traders, they are scared to go short here at the tops. And so they, no matter how, you know, there's so many people that went low, one tick below this big bar, you know, this is absolutely insane. Because this is why you have to follow the rules and you have to believe the price action structure. This is very hard for beginners to believe this setup and to take this setup after such a big leg down. But this is what you have to do in the trading ranges. Trading ranges are uncomfortable for a lot of people. I actually had a conversation with a trader about the trading ranges, and he doesn't like trading ranges because he's new. And it's true, a lot of beginners, including me, I really didn't like trading ranges when I started trading. But once you learn to read the price action, the trading ranges are actually probably one of the easiest patterns that are are there. So this is a good long. We're working higher, we have a break and a new high, and this is where I got trapped, because I always tell you that most breakouts fail. So I went short here, and take a look at this. They actually got me here, you know, they still got me even after all those years. They still got me. I went short here. I was really hoping, dude, I was sure we're gonna spike back, but you can see they trapped me up just on one tick or maybe two ticks, and then they shot it lower. I actually re-entered on this bar because I was like, no, I'm not gonna I can't handle this. I got stopped out here just to see it make it lower, so I dropped my limit order right here. I got filled, luckily got my scalped, and I was out of here. But this is just shows you that, you know, I was right here, but I just got trapped by a few ticks. Just I was too early. But you know, 9 out of 10 times this trade is gonna work. Now I was just a little bit early. The trade still technically worked because the breakout failed, but I was just a little bit early. This is kind of like two legs a little bit higher, and this is a proper entry. Now you definitely got trapped the longs. You know, this is a second entry and longs are trapped, so this is a perfect setup. And the best setup actually for novice traders is to take this lower high. This is a new high. This is the highest high of the breakout. We pulled back, and this is the lower high. This high is the lower high from this high. So this is the perfect trade for novice traders. If you're too scared to fade the breakouts, wait for the breakout pullback, because the breakout failed. We pulled back, and the EMA is holding the resistance. The resistance now is holding. So this is a breakout pullback trade. This is much better trade and much higher probability setup. You know, I'm just used to taking this risk right here. Just like I took the risk right here, I took the risk right here. But this is how you have to trade the ranges. You just have to follow the rules. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the day. Now we just, you know, we have a trend line, we have a break and a new high, potential long here, and now we just have this mess, and I really hate this mess. Now you are in the middle of trading range, and you really want to stay out of this. You don't want to trade this mess right now, and now it's too late for me. I don't really like trading too late. So this is the bigger picture for you. Take a look. Started off really bullish early on, and I was kind of surprised here we didn't try to make a new leg. But yeah, this is it for the day. Not that hard of a day, but not the easiest day either. So yeah, I wish you a good start into the new weekend and into the new trading week, and safe trading, guys. Bye, guys.